Hey folks, Lee here once again. Sorry that I have not been doing videos lately, it's just because I've been more busy with work as usual. And anyway guys, today, continuing my Superman marathon, I am giving this, I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on Supergirl Season 2. So this time I'm giving my thoughts on favorite episodes since I've been doing Phase 3 of my Superman marathon by talking about the TV shows I've been on. Supergirl, the TV show starring Melissa Benoist. And this time I'm giving my thoughts on favorite episodes of Season 3 of Supergirl Season 3. So, and I'll be right back. I gotta go get my other phone. Hit my leg on the side of the bed. I'm alright. Yeah, just getting the phone to do the video. So, anyway, definitely go watch my Season 1 and 2 of my thoughts slash favorite Supergirl Season 1 and 2. That is on my channel right now. And so, what did I think of the third season of Supergirl? I enjoyed it. I actually like this more than the second season. Now, I will say there are problems with it, but I really enjoyed it this more time around. I still have my issues, but not as many issues I had with Season 2 of it being let down in my opinion. And there were some things I would say that were redeemable for me in this season, but still I would say Season 1 is still the best of Supergirl. Season 1 is still the best of Supergirl. This would be my second favorite behind it, so, But yeah, picture of Rain and Alex and Wynn and John, and Monelli does come back in the season. Get more into that. So anyway, Supergirl Season 3. This season was basically 2017 to 2018. Yeah, this season ran from this season ran from 2017 to 2018. They are joined by Katie McGrath, who's part of the series regular from her recruiting status in the previous season. We have some new cast members as well. You have Erica Durance coming in here, who, if y'all remember, she was Lois Lane in Smallville, which I've heard they're going to do a Smallville animated series, so I definitely want to check that out. I'm going to close my blinds. Just don't want to be the video too distracting. It's light here enough already, so. But yeah, Erica Durance from Smallville, and plays Cola's mother in here. Emma Chamberlain plays Ruby, and the lady that plays her mother, Sama Harris. We have Morgan Edge in here. And of course, you have Maggie Sawyer coming back, and Eve Tessmacher, and Carla as Myron Jones. So, yeah, there's that. But what Supergirl Season 3, what this season is about, give a synopsis. I hate it when it does that. So basically, Carl, in Season 3 of Supergirl Season 3, what it's about is that Carl struggles with the loss of Mon-El after he is forced to leave Earth. When Mon-El returns, he reveals that he has time traveled to the 35th century and founded the Legion, as well as married Emma Arden. John discovers his father, Myron, is alive, and Alex deals with her heartbreak after breaking up with Maggie. Carl and Alex's new friend, Samantha Harris, discovers who also has a daughter named Ruby, but she also finds out that she's a Kryptonian. She's also a Kryptonian as well, and begins a transformation from a loving single mother into the world-killing weapon known as Rain. So Supergirl has to fight these world killers. As you can tell, there's Pestilence and Parody, I think that's what they call them. But these three world killers basically want to, make Krypton again. It's these three witches led by Selena, who they want to kind of rebuild Krypton on Earth by killing a bunch of people and think Earth, needs to be refixed and, basically murdered. You also have Wynn, the character Wendell Scott, leaving the season. Like Cat Grant left Season 2 at the beginning of Season 2, and in here of Wynn leaving, so, that was sad. But, yeah. But I'll go ahead and start getting my favorite episodes, like I usually do, so I'll go ahead and get started with that. And I don't want to be too long because I got work tomorrow, but we still got plenty of time. So, anyway. Alright, starting with my favorite episodes of Supergirl, and first one is Girl of Steel. Yeah. In the beginning of the season, you have Cora dreaming of Monel. She's like in this place, it's like kind of like a field, and you have this music going on, and she's touching the flowers and stuff. And, in this field, Monel's right behind her, and she sees her mother, Erica Durrance. And Cora, you just have her, she's up in the air, flying, she's just up in the air, floating in the air, just closing her eyes, using her super hearing. And Cora has just been, upset. She was heartbroken after Monel left, and she's been heartbroken, and she's been angry about it. So she's been focusing all the time on Supergirl to fight villains. And she hears this guy, they take on this guy, her and Alex stop this guy on a bus. This kid wants to say, nice job, Supergirl, but Supergirl flies away. Rudely, pretty much just rude to the kid and just leaves, but like I said, just because she's been in her bad mood. Cora won't even spend time with the family, doesn't even spend time with, with John or, with Alex anymore, or Wynn or James, doesn't even hang out with them anymore. They have game nights, Cora won't go there anymore. And, in the episode, she's just angry and just focused on talking about it. She's just rude and bad up to people like, get to work. And, she's also trying to chase a villain down or whatever. I forget the guy's name. We have this villain called Bloodsport, which she takes on Bloodsport. He tries to use a machine gun to shoot Supergirl, but Supergirl was able to grab the bullets and punch him out. So she fights him. He almost gets somebody hurt, but Supergirl saves him. I'm sorry, it's go over. But I do like the scene where where Alex is trying to talk to Cora. It's like, why you acting like this? She's like, well, he didn't dump me, he didn't leave me. He had to leave. And she says that she's broken hearted. Like, what? I'm not human. I don't want to have human emotions. I want to ignore it. And pretty much she's telling Alex just to piss off. And Alex is telling her, what, Cora Danvers is my favorite person, and I want her back. I want Cora Danvers back. The girl with the glasses. Yeah, her identity, because that's who she is, Cora Danvers. And as you said in the season, Cora is going through a bit of an identity crisis. Just thinks that, I want to be full-on alien and not human no more because of being heartbroken. So I'm going to focus on time just not being Cora Danvers anymore. Even James is asking her that who is, of course, the boss, her boss and CEO, the boss of Catco. We're telling her to write this article, but she refuses. And he's like, you need to write that article down. Maybe just for thought, she's like, what? I quit. I won't do it, And that's when Alice has a conversation with her. Selena eventually, becomes the CEO of the place, of Catco. And her and James don't get along at first, and you have Morgan Asian here. Plan to do something more fun. So he's kind of like a crooked businessman. As you say, he's a rich man. Let's see what he wants to do with taking over the company. Yeah. Like I said, he hired Bloodsport to commit these crimes for him. Of course, Supergirl stops him. Well, he's got like this weapon where they're gonna, this woman named Samantha Harris, who is at the waterfront, and they're just partying there, and Alice's girlfriend Maggie, who I still don't care about. Like, her and Maggie are talking about wanting to have kids, but Maggie does not want to have children, and the season kind of starts to upset Alex. But they're trying to protect people at waterfront. Bloodsport has got like a submarine in the water, and they use this missile nearly to attack people. But the one I mentioned, Samantha Harris, who saves her daughter Ruby, she nearly gets crushed by this pole jump landing on her. Mom picks up the pole or whatever, but she has super strength almost. But she just thinks that it's adrenaline. I can't say it right. A moment when you get strength when your child's in danger or something like that. But they nearly kill Cora in the water. Cora can't swim. At first they kind of knock her out. Like she's knocked out a little bit. But she's able to get back her faith, get back some strongness, and stop the submarine. I do like the scene where she's talking to John Jones, who he's telling her, do you miss your family? Like all the time, and they talk about pain and having to deal with it. And I say with this episode, I felt heartbroken for Cora. But at the end, though, at the episode, you have Sam. She has a dream about a disturbing creature like roaring at her or screaming at her, which is pretty frightening. Like, what the hell? But overall, cool, still good episode to start off the season, in my opinion. Alright, and then another favorite of mine is called Triggers. Where Carl battles a metahuman called Pessy, I can't say anything right. Trigger, or basically I'll call it whatever. Pessy, who basically, has the ability to get into people's heads and make you experience your fears. She's like Scarecrow, but without a mask and without having to talk, so she can just use her mind to, attack you and make you feel your fears. So she used robbing banks, and Supergirl focus on this. Again, she's being rude toward people, sometimes, and even being rude toward women. Supergirl, has a bit of a fight with her. Well, Supergirl's like, I'm going to stop you, and then she uses her mind wipe on, her mind powers on Supergirl, and Supergirl dreams about her fears about being in the pod and being alone. She gets scared and intense, and she even sees Mon-El, but in this vision she sees her mother, Erica Durance, and her, her ship leaving Krypton, and her being in the Phantom Zone all by herself. She was, I think, in the Phantom Zone for 12 years, I believe. She's been in there for so long that I guess you can say that kind of being that loneliness kind of just scared her. But eventually Cora, Cora tries to face her again. She used these psychic dampeners that one gives her, but it doesn't work. And this time Supergirl gets so scared that she begins to fear what's happening, and she thinks that Mon-El is dead, and Alice tells her, like, no, Cora, it wasn't your fault. You can do this. You can overcome it. And eventually I do like that Cora, Supergirl overcomes it, and Supergirl, Pessai or whatever, tries to confront Cora, tries to kill Supergirl, tries to do mind wipe, and Supergirl just walks up to her, just straight like that. So, I'm not afraid anymore, and then she headbutts her and knocks her out, and, she ends up in jail. They have like a dampener to stop her from using power, and basically take her to Dio and imprison her, so, like the scene, though, where Cara's about to change into Supergirl, and, PC got in her head so much, she's having daydreams about Krypton again, and, she's just kind of having a side attack. But she does overcome the fear. Lena decides to visit run Catco. She asks Cora to do something to write an article for her, but Cora's just like, I'm busy, I can't do it, and Cora just has that attitude, and Lena tells her straight up. Again, like I said, the whole thing with Lena not being useful, but I do like it though when Lena, I will admit, I like to hear when she told her, Cora, this is inappropriate behavior, as your boss, this is inappropriate, your boss says you do something, you do it, he just tells you you need to learn to set things up, whatever you're going through, when you're working, you need to be focused on doing your job, that's what she's trying to, she tells Cora that pretty much. Throughout the episode, you see Sam and Ruby like shooting nerve guns at each other, just playing around. And she thinks that her mom has powers, and she nearly puts herself in danger to prove it, because she's telling Mommy have powers. And Ruby gets into a fight with a girl at school, and she's trying to tell Ruby, I don't have any powers. Ruby I thought she's a little girl, she's 12 years old, so you can say she doesn't really think. She puts herself in danger. Of course, Supergirl saves her. Kara does eventually come face to face with Morgan Edge, tell him that, she knows what he's planning, and she puts Morgan Edge on a ship, on like a cargo ship, and leaves him there. Sam eventually begins to question her origins. Lena has a press conference. She changes to Elcrop instead of Luthor Corp. She's trying to change the family name for better after what her brother Lex did. And someone tries to kill her. Of course, Supergirl saves her, but you found out that Sam, she got shot, and she checks the bullet out, and it just didn't injure her, didn't penetrate her skin at all. So she begins to question who she is. Yeah, there was a whole issue with, like I said, Maggie and Alex, Maggie not wanting to have kids. Again, I don't care about that at all. John receives a telepathic communication from Magan, basically telling me he's coming to Mars immediately, so Kara goes with him. You know what, I did put this on my okay episodes, but I'm going to go ahead and say Far From the Tree. I thought this episode was alright, but I will say I do like it, despite the problem, but I was just kind of mixed on it. When John tells them about it, they eventually go to the White Martians planet, and they have he's got like this blue plastic 50s car that's actually an alien ship, and they go to Mars, and John meets his father, Myron, who has been imprisoned by the White Martians for 300 years because they're trying to get the staff of Kobo. I think it's some kind of staff. One of them, the staff of Kobo, is a type of weapon that can defeat the Resistance. And you have one White Martian who doesn't trust John at all, and they have to go rescue them. John is a part of his father, and he's like, and his father Myron believes that John is dead. Like he believes his father was dead. He's like, nice trick, White Martian, taking the form of my dead son, and then him taking the form of of John. He's like, okay, Martian, we'll play that game, and you see him, from his Martian appearance. But throughout the episode, John and Myron go to go to John's home on Mars, where his daughters, Myron's granddaughters, died. He's like telling John, how dare you, White Martian, shit like that, and he slaps John in the face. He's like, hey, you need to, Cora tries to inspire Myron to have faith, to trust that it is John, and eventually he's able to reach John's mind, and he's able to find out, like, John was like dad, he's like father, and then him and his dad give each other a hug, and I thought that was a sad moment, and then Cora decides to fight with John and the White Martians to take the step of Cora from the White Martians, from what they're going to use of it. And I like it when Cora drives the 50s car. I think it's like a Britney Spears music, hit me baby one more time. She's like, hey y'all, can you tell me which way I need to go here, and eventually, they're able to fight them and take them down. Another thing I didn't care about in this episode, that's why I put it on my okay list. My Eliza, throws Alex and Maggie a bridal shower, but her father is against her homosexuality, blah, blah, blah. Again, this to me is just a freaking, again, they were woke. This is one of the main issues. I don't care about this. I ain't care none about that. Her father, Maggie's father comes by, and she tells him, oh, well, this is who I am, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I don't really care about, don't talk about this woke shit, you know, so I'm not going to talk about this at all, because I don't care about it, you know, I'm sorry. This is what not superhero shows to be. Again, you can be gay in real life. Hey, if you want to be, makes you happy, fine, go for it. It's your choice, but, you know, having gay characters in superhero shows, I'm sorry, no. Being woke, just, for me, it's broke, and it doesn't work for me. So, you know, but overall, still a good episode. But and then Myra and John, Kara go to, you know, they bring Myra to Earth, and we see Supergirl goes like, can all people do that? No, Father. But she's special, and they said, what do we do now? He's like, John, what do we do now? He's like, we go home, Father. And that's the end of the episode. Yeah, that was Far From the Tree. Okay. Alright, then that was an okay episode, but because of that big issue I had, but despite that, I did like the other half of it. Alright, and another favorite of mine is called The Faithful. When Kara loses her powers, you have a grieving passenger named Thomas Kobo, who at the end, you know, I guess Thomas Kobo, who, if y'all remember when, in the first episode, when Kara revealed her powers to the world and saved the plane, this guy, Thomas Kobo, was on there, and he saw Kara use her powers. He looked straight into her eyes. He's talking to somebody he's drawn and saying, oh yeah, you're probably going to be married, have kids, but guess what, dude, it ain't going to work out for you. And, you know, he feels like he's been saved by Supergirl, and somebody he builds like a cult, because he believes Supergirl is a god. So, you know, Kara and James and Wingo, they go visit this cult, and they're basically praying to Supergirl using the Book of Ra, which is pretending that Ra was their god, and he's having people put themselves in danger, like some guy, you know, being in a burning building, and it's like, Supergirl will save me, and they like bow down to her, and Supergirl, again, you know, she is not a god, you know, at all, you know, but, you know, eventually she can, you know, Kara says, go interview this guy, and he tells her, wait a minute, you're Supergirl. He knows that she's Supergirl, and then he's like, okay, well, don't tell anybody my secret. She's like, stop what you're doing now. Kobo's plan is to take a big bomb to a stadium and blow people up to prove that Supergirl can save them, that they'll be okay, that she can prove that she's God in front of everybody, and she should be worshipped. Kara, you know, they put green kryptonite, it starts weakening her, and then she shows the people that she's not a god. She gets the kryptonite and cuts herself, like, so she's bleeding, and like, what? And then he's like, Kobo's like, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were not a god, you know, and, he does help them, you know, drop the bomb. Supergirl has to use her, like, heat vision or something to get it out, you know, to make a hole so they can put the bomb on the bottom of it. And it works, but Kobo ends up in jail. He tells Supergirl, you know, I won't pray to you he's like, I won't tell you identity, you can trust me, that he won't pray to her anymore, but I will pray, he tells her, I will pray for you though. You see that he's gotten beaten up in jail a little bit, you know. And meanwhile, Sam has a vision of monstrous creature in her home, telling her soon that she will reign, yeah, of who she's becoming. And by the way, the pilot was still when that submarine attacked, there was a ship on there. I think that ship had like a part of rain in it or something like that, or one of the world killers. Yeah. Ruby sings the song from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, you know, come with me, you know, be in a world of pure imagination song. This makes Alice cry. Now it starts whining about having kids. I'm sorry. Alice has just become too much of a whiner. Yeah, she's a badass, but for me, turning her gay and making her just a whiner, that's what she become. Oh, little kids, I want to be a mother. I'm like, oh my god, we're too much. We're only in season 3, and you're whining about having kids. I'm like, it's just aggravating to me. I'm sorry. I didn't care about that. And then another favorite of mine is called Damage. This is where these little kids are damaged with lead poisoning, and you find out it's Daxamites, and Morgan tries to set Lena up as the bad guy, as that she's the one that caused it, and people are blaming her and accusing her of what she's done. Even Lena gets drunk and talks about, oh, I can't believe I did this, because I'm a Luther, and she's just trying to do some good in the world. And Cora and Sam, helping her out. I do like the moment Cora and Sam talk about that they were both adopted. Cora was able to, they're able to get to this water that it was actually Martinez that committed this crime and accusing Lena of it. But Lena does take vengeance in her hands by nearly, having a gun and going to murder Edge, but Edge gets the upper hand. They put her on a plane that they can control remotely. So it's like a plane if you're going to a military ground or something. But Supergirl was able to save Lena on time. Yeah. Alex and Maggie, decided to break up because of having kids, and blah blah blah. I didn't care about that, Oh yeah, I did mention Sam was shot on the 10th of Lena's life, but wasn't here. I already mentioned that, so it was in this episode. Sorry. Alright, and yeah, but overall, Damage was a good episode in my opinion. I still don't care for Lena, but I do like the whole thing when Morgan is trying to accuse her and stuff. Overall, I just thought the episode was good despite some issues. And then another favorite of mine is called Midfielders. This is definitely one of the best. Cora and Alex, after Cora went through the hard time with losing Monel and all she's been through, and Alex bringing up Maggie, they decided they just want to go take a nice couple of days off just to go home and be with Eliza, where they grew up. And then you see 10 years prior where Cora and her little girls, and they don't get along. Because at first when Cora came to Earth, Alex was somewhat jealous and just didn't want Cora to be part of her life. Didn't want her to be part of her life at all. They fight over the bathroom, but Cora's able to get to the bathroom because she's super speed. But you see when they're in school, they don't talk to each other. You see that, they talk about Superman. Cora's talking to these kids about Superman, sorry. And they're like, yeah, Superman's pretty lame, and I think he's pretty cool. And then Alex is like, leave her alone, or something like that. And she's like, thanks for that. And Alex is like, you're holding up the line. And, Alex is friends with these popular girls, and her and Cora just, like I said, they don't get along. Their relationship gets up to a variety of stuff. But I like this episode mainly because you see them eventually become the Danvers sisters that they would become. And then Cora had this friend, this little boy named Kenny Lee, who you see him being bullied by these kids. Cora sees that, him being bullied by the jocks, and she gets mad, and, she's grabbing the table, crushing it with her hands, nearly crushing it, just getting mad, but she has to use her lunch tray to cover it up. And her and Kenny talk, and it's adorable. I can see her being in a relationship with somebody like Kenny, if they were growing up. Kenny, you also find out that he kind of knew about Cora's abilities, I guess he just didn't say nothing. But, he eventually likes Cora. She showed Cora the telescope of him looking at the planets. But Kenny Lee eventually gets murdered, and he had a photograph of this teacher having a relationship with a student, which is illegal. Alex goes to confront this girl about it, but eventually Alex does tell, and the guy does get arrested. But he did not murder Kenny. Kenny had some evidence on his computer. The police don't look through it. It was upsetting when I saw Cora. Cora here's Kenny being murdered. She was using her powers just to run and jump, using her super speed, and just starts crying over Kenny's death. And this is when her and I start to investigate more. They get too close. They're walking on the road, talking, and somebody tries to nearly run them over. Thanks to Cora's abilities, using her powers. We get that, and basically John Jones goes undercover before they know John, or when they knew it was Hank Henshaw first. But anyway, goes undercover as Eric Durant's, Cora's mother, telling him, "I'm not your mother, sweetie, but sweetie, you need to listen to me. You can't be using your powers." Cora's and Cora says that for a while, but when Alex eventually finds out that it's a sheriff, in Warren Collins, you find out that he was involved in the drug deal and that he killed Kenny. I guess just shot him, you can say. And Cora confronts him about them. He's about ready to kill, point a gun at Alex because Alex knows the truth. But Cora overhears this. I guess she didn't realize and uses her powers and saves Alex. And then you have Cora and Alex, their relationship being better, and they're they tell Eliza bye, and then they're singing in the car as they're leaving, which I thought was a nice little song. They both sing really good. But, that was a good episode in my opinion. Yeah. It was nice to see a bit of their past and, how that they didn't get along at first. But, in this episode you see how they became the Danvers sisters. How they became, Alex and Cora became really good sisters. They becoming family, basically. Yeah. Alright, another favorite of mine is called Wake Up. Cora, John, and Lynn investigate a crashed spaceship that is beneath the surface that I was talking about. Cora, before she can, do the whole thing where they can get down, John uses his ability to kind of transport them down there. They find that the stranger is Monel, and we find out that Monel tells him that he's married. You find out that Monel went to the future, tells him that he got trapped in when he went through a wormhole that brought him to the 31st century where, the cure for the Dash Match, which he was okay going on. But anyway, Monel ended up in the 31st century, the future, and he became a superhero. I would say this time I do like Monel a little better. I can say the character grew on me in this season. I still wish that she would have probably ended up with Jimmy Olsen, but despite that. But here, he tells him that, you can say he's a lot more mature, and that he's got this cool red suit and blue cape, and they have these Legion rings, and they're like superheroes in the future. Basically, and a lot has changed in this future. It's a better future, as you can say. And they save his wife, and Imra, what's her name, Imra? Yeah, Imra, who is kind of she has psychic powers and stuff. She even talks to Cora, I know what you and Monel went through, but it's hard for Cora to see him again and him being married, because again, like I said, they were in a relationship. They were in love until Monel, let me recap season 2 for those that haven't seen season 2 again. Just recap, he had to leave season 2 because of the mother attacking Earth. They had to poison National City with Daxamites. They killed the Daxamites, so Mono had to leave. Then he got trapped in the wormhole. So yeah, it's a bit hard to explain, but so you see Mono and his wife, just hanging out, eating, and just having a good time. The car is having a hard time watching them. John wants an apartment for him and Myra and Tanner to live in. He's like, what are we doing here? He's like, well, this is going to be our apartment, Father. This is where we're going to be living. He's like, okay, John. Sam eventually finds out that she has superhuman ability. She is cooking food or whatever in the pot, and of course the boiling water is really hot. If you touch it, you would burn your hand, but Sam puts her hand in the boiling water and it doesn't burn. So she goes talk to her adopted mother. I think her name was Patricia. She knows of her kryptonite, and Patricia tells her that she was acting kind of weird as a child, so Sam didn't really have the best childhood, as her mother kept her isolated. Patricia kept her isolated, and she even tells her, about her ship, and then she finds that she's Kryptonian. She travels to the Forces Sanctuary, is able to be built, and she meets a holograph named Selena, telling that she's destined to become a world killer, and Sam resists, and Sam's like, no, that's not me, I'm not a killer. I want Trina was like, you have no free will or no choice or whatever. And you see Sam eventually, her eyes turn red, and her persona, Rain, is triggered from her subconscious, so we'll find out how she becomes. I'll get more later into that, but eventually she becomes Rain. Rain wears a black suit, kind of like representing the Kryptonian witches or whatever, and wearing a black mask. As you can see the picture, that's what Rain looks like. Yeah. But overall, a good episode in my opinion. I like seeing him on our back. Yeah, I'll admit that. And it was cool him being part of the Legion of Superheroes and stuff, being from the 31st century. That was interesting in my opinion for them to do that. Alright, and then another favorite of mine is called Rain. Episode called Rain. Crisis on Earth X Part 1. Okay, that's the end crossover. I will be doing a review for that, so again, this video is mainly focused on Supergirl for now, but the crossovers, like I said, for the Arrowverse, I will be reviewing the crossovers, so we're skipping that. Rain. Sam Mary's pretty much wakes up at home with no memory of where she's been at. You can tell that she's just blacked out. I guess she sent Ruby to live with to stay with a nanny or whatever. And she's like, Mom, did you do a trip? And she's like, I didn't go anywhere. She's like, yes, you did. And she can't remember. And she's also doing work for Lena, kind of being her assistant, help her run L Corp. That's how she meets Cora and Lena. They become friends. Also, because kind of a Christmas episode too. There's this mark of the city, and Kobo tells her it's the mark of evil, kind of like saying, as you can see, people can see Cora as God, basically that Rain is the devil, because that Rain is she's a world killer, she's coming to bring justice to the earth, but by murdering people and stuff, by killing people. They tell her about the Legion. Well, Monel said that when he went to the future that he used Supergirl's inspiration of being a hero. So basically, because of her, because of her being heroic and stuff, they use her example, cause Supergirl's example of being a hero, and so that creates Legion, basically because of her, which I thought was cool. Cora has a little Christmas party with her family, and he found out that James and Lena are having a crush on each other, which I didn't really care about him and Lena having a relationship this season, but it starts to build up. They have a nice little Christmas party by Myron over and stuff, and I like that they play some games, and he transforms himself into like not a Martian but an astronaut, which I thought was pretty funny. Pretty funny episode, pretty funny in the episode. Sam eventually becomes Rain by starting to, when she hears about crime, you see her just take off the, kind of like Supergirl becoming Rain. When her eyes to Rain, she's basically turning into Rain. Rain starts going after the criminals who are doing a drug deal. She basically just slaughters them. She starts murdering and killing every criminal she can. She almost kills Morgan Edge. Morgan Edge has he's got like a vault or whatever, and the vault has lead. So even though Rain's looking for him, she can't see through lead because again, she's Kryptonian, and just like Supergirl Superman, they can't see through lead. So Rain just flies off and goes to, I guess, do more killings or whatever. Kara says she's going to have to fight Rain, and Kara, Alex is like, listen, Kara, I know I've been wanting you to risk your humanity, but forget all that. Be full-on alien and go kick her ass. Supergirl confronts Rain, and Rain tells her that, I'm purity, I'm just justice, I'm here to help. It's like, by murdering people, and her and Supergirl just start fighting, and they see them flying and fighting around, and Supergirl is actually getting a bad beating from her. You just see Rain like, pow, 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 give her a few punches. They end up on the street. Supergirl's going to get knocked out. She almost kills Supergirl. Supergirl was able to, face off an attack from her. And Kara does put a bit of a fight, but eventually Rain, beats the crap out of Supergirl. And, after beating Supergirl's bruised, beating up and all blooded up in the face and stuff. And she's got Supergirl like this, and is about to throw over a building, drop her off a building, and says, all I am, is justice, and I will reign. And Rain just drops Supergirl, and you see Supergirl just fall, and, she's just passed out, on the pavement, on the ground, and everybody's like, whoa, Supergirl's just been defeated. You think she's dead, but she just ends up in a coma. And of course Rain does continue her reign of terror over the city. Ruby runs downstairs to see her mom, but then you see that something creepy happens and the episode ends there. But overall, good episode. The only thing I didn't care about was James and Lena falling in love. I think they shared a kiss in this episode, but I just didn't care. It kind of reminded me of Lana and Lex a little bit, even though I know her, that's what kind of reminded me of, like, for me, Supergirl's main love interest, probably is Jimmy Olsen, or maybe he is Monel, but kind of like, basically he was kind of like Lana was Clark's, and Lex going for her, and I'm like, great. But then another favorite of mine is called The Illusion of Superheroes. The illusion, they put her like in a tank or whatever with water just to heal her wounds. And you find out that Kara is in a coma. She meets Brainy, who is blue. I'm sorry, this actor I don't care for is Brainy. Yeah, he becomes becomes a main cast member in season 4. And here he's alright. I just kind of annoying him. Like, I think James Masters, from Smallville as Brandon Cloud is better because he wasn't this freaking annoying. And I swear they give him this blue makeup and it looks awful. I'm sorry. It looks like shit. I'm not gonna kid. I'm sorry. The makeup looks stupid. Looks terrible. I'm like, oh my gosh. But he's talking to Supergirl and Kara, has a memory of a cat. Talking about her petting her cat, Strikey. And Kara tries to, again, refuse that. I'm not Kara, I'm Supergirl, try to use her alien side. So she's in this coma. She's like trapped on off. She can't get out. She tries to use her heat vision to get out, but it won't work. Eventually, she does get out of the coma, but in order to do that, she has to fully embrace that she is also Kara Danvers. So, and with that, she's able to get out of the coma. Meanwhile, Rain you do see. I do remember when at Catco when they talk about Morgan Edge and where Lena, Sam, and James are talking about Morgan Edge, and Sam says like he deserves to die. You see her just giving a real look, become a Rain there for a second, and when she goes to be Rain, she does attack more people, and goes to Catco and was like, you. Filming Cameron was like, I'm here to bring justice, I'm here to help. And she's basically declaring war on all criminals on the city. So John and Alex decide to take her down by using green kryptonite. They nearly are both successful, but Rain is able to become overpowered over it and get away and breaks Alex's leg. Eventually, the Legion side they shouldn't get involved, but until Emma was able to talk Mon-El into helping, so they fight Rain a little bit. Like when Emma uses her psychic powers to use these weights to take on Rain. Emma fights her back too. Supergirl's able to get out of her coma. They fight Rain a bit, and Rain finds out from Selena, the hologram. Selena, was like, Supergirl had friends. Like, well, you have friends too. Why didn't you tell me that before? Well, it wasn't that necessary because you could handle the situation yourself. And I think Thomas Kobo says, I can help you out with that. Promising to serve Rain. Yeah. Overall, Legion Superheroes were a good episode in my opinion. Just leaving at the time, sorry. Alright, and another favorite of mine is called Fort Ross. Sam prepares to go to a business trip, leaving Alex to babysit Ruby. And Ruby likes being babysitted by Alex. And Alex, they kind of become like friends. They talk about Maggie a little bit. And I thought, her and little friendship was funny. And I do like the scene though, even though, because Alex has a broken leg, so she can't work for a while. She tells her about this girl being born and says some mean things about her. And I thought it was funny when Alex and her, with Ruby off to the side, Alex is at the door and telling this girl, you were being, cyberbullying is legal, and I'm part of the FBI, because she uses that girl from DEO, and says you can be arrested. Oh my god, don't tell my mom, I was just goofing off with them. She's like, don't do it again, they scare the girl. And then I like when Ruby says, well, this girl who kicked me, and I was like, and Alex is like, don't push it. And I thought that was funny. But Clara decides to go get help from Livewire, who Leslie gets a job, working at a restaurant, being a server or whatever. A waitress, And she's telling Livewire, I need your help. And they want to locate the priestess. There's this priestess that knows of Rain's mission, and this priestess is actually played by Sarah Douglas, who, if you don't know, that is Ursula from Superman 2 and Superman 2: The Richard Donner Cut. So that was awesome that they brought her in this movie. In this show. But and Ember goes too. They have to fight some of the Phantom Zones there. This Fort Ross place is where some of her mom in prison, and Supergirl needs help because she doesn't have her powers. Livewire is able to use her electricity powers to help out a little bit. She almost gets shoved into space, but she's able to use her electricity abilities to zap back onto the ship. Rain eventually shows up too, gets a ship, and decides to go take on Supergirl and stop her team. Supergirl confronts Chandela Kyle Ross, played by Sarah Douglas. She reviews the saved cores. She tells her about two other world killers, Purity and Pestilence. Okay, two other world killers, and tells them that they will reign and that they will kill your Earth, and Earth will become a new Krypton. And when Rain shows up, she offers up to Sarah Douglas offers up to join up with Rain. Sorry, I keep doing that. But Rain's like, I don't need you, and Rain just uses heat vision and kills Cerato's. And they fight Rain a little bit. Livewire is killed, which I thought was sad. But Leslie, was a good die hero, despite all the villainous things that she has done. But Pest a trigger girl, basically, I'm going to call her, uses her abilities on Rain, and you see her become Sam for a minute. She's like, Supergirl! She's just, freaking out, seeing her fear of losing Ruby. But eventually, Rain's able to come back and escape. They found out a woman named Julie Freeman is shot by a car, but she survives it. And you find out that she is herself a war killer. She is, I believe, Purity. Yeah. And then another favorite episode of mine is called For Good. Sorry. No, I'll leave it alone. I'm sorry. This is where Lena is poisoned by an unknown hitman, somebody who's trying to kill her, and you think it might be Maureen Edge, but he actually hires somebody to murder her. And even James, he's been in a relationship with Lena, goes to confront him, nearly is almost ready to throw him off a building, and he keeps on saying he didn't do it. Morgan Edge, after having talks, having a talk with Lena and James. After that, his car gets nearly blown up, and someone's trying to kill him. So, you find out that it's actually Lily and Luther who tried to sabotage his car, but he's able to, get into the back of the trunk, open the trunk up, and jump out of his car. He does accuse Lena at first of trying to kill him. But when I said you found out it's Lena and Luther, she's like, honey, you're Luther, that's who you are, and this man's trying to kill you. I'm just simply trying to help you out. And she's just telling him this another way, until Lily and, they show up at this party or whatever that Morgan is running, and Lena is trying to save him. They're trying to save Morgan Edge. Her mother puts on this Lex Luthor's exosuit that is like which was actually a suit able to take on Superman in the fight, because at Kryptonite she's able to take on Supergirl, but she got like the Kryptonite, so we're able to slash that car up. But Marna helps too, and they're able to take her down though, and Lynn gets sent to jail. But you see her and Mother just talk to her like, Mother, see, I told you, there's a better way to handle this situation. Lily and Morgan Edge are arrested. Sam fears that she has a brain tumor, and Lily tries to stop her. She's like, silence! It's like, there's something wrong with Sam. I'm going to help you out. We're going to fix you. So she takes her to Elko, to doctor her up a little bit. Put her in a facility where she can help her. Carl is able to identify Julie Freeman, who, at the episode, they suspect that one of the three war killers are on Earth, and they gotta find them and stop them before, they can create more havoc. So, yeah. And then another favorite episode is mine called Shot Through the Heart. At the beginning, you have the team, Carl telling the team, they're at a bar, and it's like, are we ready? You've been preparing for this fight for a long time. And you see them doing, singing, I forget what you call it, kind of like a song night or whatever at the bar where you karaoke. They're doing that, and it's fun to hear mine sing, and they all sing. Lynn is about to sing too, but sees on the news that his father died. And of course, his father was, if you remember, those childish things in season 1, that his father is Winslow Scott, aka Toyman, one of Superman's villains, and he's upset by this. They're at his father's funeral, and his mother shows up. His mother left him, abandoned him. He's like, really, Mom, you just show up there? And this bomb goes off in the casket. And I knew, Supergirl comes, the call goes to Supergirl, who can save his mother from being killed. And then his mother's like, well, the lunatic won the guard with a bang, even when Wynn didn't like his father so much, when he grabs the dirt, he just throws the dirt on there because that's how much he hated his father. His mother wants to talk to him, but Wynn doesn't want to talk to his mother at all because he's angry with her. But somebody sends flying monkeys to the DEO, like almost from Wizard of Oz, but they're robots basically, and they fight them off like cars. He just uses heat vision to fight them and fights all these monkeys, which was cool in the episode. And when his mother tried to rekindle the relationship, she tells him that I had to abandon you because your father, we were going to go to Disneyland, but we were going to a psychiatric hospital, wherever, or just to take you somewhere to get help. And your dad caused a wreck and purposely trying to kill you. So, he warned his mother, when his mother was warned by his father, Toyman, that, if you're going to leave us, I'm going to kill your son. So she did it for Wynn's protection. It was a hard thing for her to do, but she did it just to protect her son. His mother's name is Mary. They're able to discover the origin of the toy. Mary goes to confront this woman that has done this, and she knocks Mary out, and they're going to kill Mary to win. And Supergirl, well, Supergirl is caught she has Supergirl like in a box or something like that, or just, kind of is able to tie her up, like this. Mon-El fights a T-Rex, which I thought was really cool. And in a cool way, he can use his cape. He uses his cape, like to roll around or whatever, and fights off the T-Rex, which I thought was cool. And he offers to teach Cora that. Maybe she could take on Rain with that. You found out one of the world killers, Pestilence. She transforms in 1,000 years. She travels into Blight, and Blight causes, the death of many people in the future. But him, Wynn and his mother reconnect. You see them singing everything, which was nice. And the actress who played her, I think I remember her from Scream 2. She was Mrs. Loomis from Scream 2. Good actress. And you find out Lena is keeping Sam locked up in a medical bay under sedation, basically to stop her from turning into Rain. But overall, good episode in my opinion. And then the third of mine is called In Search of Lost Time. Lena, who is, in the medical bay, on Elcorp, and she's trying to help her. When she discovers that, obviously by taking a blood sample from her, she is Rain. You see, she's like, look, I don't have powers. I'm just a normal woman. I'm just normal. And Lena is able to kind of get under her skin, and when she gets mad, you see her eyes turn red. She uses her eyes turn red. She uses her heat fish. She's like, and she shows her a video of her turning into Rain and her just using her powers to try to get out and everything. And Sam is freaked out. You find out Sam goes to this place called the Dark Valley, which is where she goes while Rain takes over her body. So it's kind of like like a dark woods or whatever, but more Dark Valley. Which looks pretty creepy, by the way. You find out that John's father has Alzheimer's. Alex is visiting Myron and John, just to have dinner with them, and she talks to Myron about it, telling Myron about her grandmother, was like, you need to tell John, but Myron just won't listen. He doesn't want to accept that he has Alzheimer's, just doesn't want to accept it, and he tells Alex, you will say nothing to my son, get out of my house, get, and Alex just walks away, and Alex tells John the next day, it's not my place to say, but you need to talk to your father. And even though he doesn't want to listen, Myron doesn't want to listen, he starts using his psychic abilities, and the DO become angry at each other. When he has a fight with this guy who he doesn't like Gwen or whatever, they fight a little bit until John is able to stop them by using his mind ability to stop them from fighting. Kara is training with Mon-El, who's training her to use the cape to fight, to take on Rain. He uses like a hologram from the future to show her how she can take on Rain, but Kara shows how angry she is at him for leaving her, and she tells him, I try to help you get a job, I try to help you be a superhero, you screwed, Eve Tessmacher in the locker room, in a closet, you were screwing her behind my back, and you won't listen to me, and you did this, blah, 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 and, you left me, and you did this, and Mon-El was, I almost feel like he's a bit of tears coming out of his, and Kara's just upset, but she says the psychic damage, but he says her point in front of how angry she was with Mon-El for some of the things he did, even though later on he does apologize to her for it. Myron refuses to wear the king. He was like, my son, we're not in prison. I've been in prison by Martians at the Mars planet for 300 years. You will not imprison me. So he starts phasing through the ceiling, trying to get out. And, John can't put the cuffs, his DO handcuffs, they can damper his powers. And he's refusing to use it. He's like, no, I will not use it. And he's like, the Supergirl was like, you can do this, Myron. This is just to help you. You have to accept it. And he's like, okay. Then they put it on him. John also, becoming a Martian Manhunter, is able to, kicks White Martian's ass, so that was cool. And he's like, Father, it'll be okay. And Myron apologizes to the DEO for getting them angry at each other and fighting him and stuff. He apologizes to him, and he accepts that he has Alzheimer's. And slowly but surely he starts to forget things. And it just becomes really sad for Myron, because he's probably 1,000-something years old, because he's lived for many years. So Kara and Mon-El fly, but they see Deborah's plane, realizing that Pestilence is behind it. Yeah. Alright, but in Search of Lost Time, good episode in my opinion. Alright, another favorite of mine is called Of Two Minds. The DEO investigates this. You find out one of the world killers, Pestilence, when an ass become infected, they're trying to find out who this is. Emma says that, well, we need to kill the world killer. We need to find Pestilence and kill her. But you find that it's also personal for her, because Pestilence also killed her sister, so it's personal. But Supergirl's like, no, we can't do this. She even, at the hospital, used her psychic powers to make a show. Supergirl tries to take it down. It's like, I don't kill. I don't do that. That's not the way. They found out it's Grace Parker, who was a doctor, but you found out that Grace is actually, in the Dark Valley, she's dead, that she fully becomes Pestilence, and Pestilence has to, they fight her off a bit. They're able to get, a blood sample from her, though, and Alex and Wendy, even though they're about to die, they end up getting rescued thanks to Brainy's, able to get thanks to them, we're given the blood sample to Brainy so he can analyze it and fix them. She has Rain appear for a minute and help Cork when Sam is in the medical bay. But Carl, Monel, and Emma show up, and they find out that she's been keeping Sam kind of locked up, and Sam is like in this medical bay, but she's like in a shield basically, and Carl is like, really, Lena, how could you do that? So again, like I said, with Supergirl, Kara, and her friendship with Lena, this is where they start to have to start where she can't trust Lena, and Lena having kryptonite as well. It kind of reminds me of Smallville. It reminds me of Smallville. Clark and Lex when, Lex would do trust with things like being obsessed with Clark, or having pictures of him and investigating the crash, or doing things behind Clark bad with Clark. Is like, can I trust him? Yeah, that's what it kind of reminded me of. But Pestilence and Purity show up, and they free Rain, and the three fly off together. So now they have to take them all on. But overall, good episode in my opinion. Another favorite of mine is called Trinity. Lena, I can't talk, but Lena is questioned by the DEO. She tells him, you can't arrest me because it's Elko property that I did. And you see her and Supergirl start to have issues here, and Supergirl asks James, to be his guardian, to see if she has kryptonite, any more kryptonite that she made, or any from Lex's kryptonite. Guardian, James goes to check, and he sees that she does not have any kryptonite. Well, he doesn't check, because he trusts Lena, so he does not check her vault. Decides not to. Eventually tells Lena this, and he tells her that he's, guardian, they make the blood eventually, didn't really care about that too much. Then the War Killers decided to bring in Eclipse, basically. That means to rebuild Krypton. You see Sam and Julia, are in the Dark Valley. They're both freaked out, and Julia can see some of the people that Purity killed, that Purity killed some of the people that she killed, and Sam will eventually see it too, but Sam's like, right, what you down, you remember Ruby, should they try to remember everything. Sam is eventually able to get into Rain's mind, and is able to get a message to where they're at. And so Supergirl, Monel, and John, and Alex, who has a new suit and a cool gun. It doesn't have bullets, but it's like electric bullets, which I thought was pretty cool, I'll admit there. It's her better than, wearing this makeup and a Robin Hood suit she does later on in the season. But anyway, they go to take them on in a fight, which I thought was cool. And Pestilence, punches Sam in the face like, oh, human. The human's how you punch her in the face. And Rain's like, and then Rain, I thought was funny, Rain punches back, he's like, oh, that works, bringing her back fully. Supergirl and Rain fight again, and probably was able to use her cape as well to fight her, but before the War Killers can kill them off, Pestilence gets killed by Julia, who Julia comes back, using her powers for good, able to take them out. Julia dies eventually, but by doing the right thing. And but eventually you find out that Rain has is able to get the blood, I guess you could say, of Purity and Pestilence. So that means she has powers, which Purity has like a screeching yell that she has, and Pestilence is like her power is deadly, meaning like deadly poisonous. So Rain gets her power. And Rain, who wants to fully take over that human side of Sam, she finds out that she has to kill Ruby, but of course Lena says to keep Ruby safe. When Rain says go kill her, just to kill the humans out of her and to fully become Rain. So, yeah, overall good episode in my opinion. Alright, then another favorite of mine is called Shelter from the Storm. Sorry. Shelter from the Storm. Lena and Jones are sleeping together. They're both attacked by Rain, who's questioning them, who's saying, "Where is Ruby ours?" And Lena's able to use kryptonite to get her away, and Rain just flies off. The Legion members return to their time, but Emerald tells, Lana, who just doesn't want to use feelings, just says that we need to be in the future. Till, Emerald tells them, you need to go be with Cora, you need to go get this out, you need to spend your time with her as long as you can. So, as Legionnaire, he decides to be with responsibility, decide to stay and help her fight Rain. You find out that Ruby is in the mansion, but Slither has a mansion that disappears, tells her the code, hangs out with Ruby for a bit, and Rain is eventually able to find it because Ruby uses her phone, I guess, to call a friend or something like that. And Rain, like I said, with Supergirl's powers, with a superhero, she's just floating in the air. She's able to use superhero and hears her calling in to find her location. Rain does come attack Alex and Ruby. Alex is able to use the gun a little bit. And, some of the bullets attack. Lex has this big machine gun that attacks Rain. But Supergirl and show up, they fire off, and then the mask eventually comes off, and Ruby sees that Mom sees that, it's Rain, and Rain's closely to attack. Until they're able to use, until they eventually take Rain out and kind of but, they put Rain back in the medical bay, of course with the kryptonite dampener on her chest right here, eventually, Cora, as Cora dampers, Cora goes see Selena, and she tells her about what Supergirl did, and she tells her that she doesn't trust Supergirl anymore, that she crossed the line, and, Supergirl goes, well, maybe I did wrong that I trust Selena, but, again, I don't care about their friendship, but that's just me. But overall, still a good episode in my opinion. And you do feel bad for her because her mom is this evil spell personality, so, there's that. Shelter from the Storm. Okay. Alright, then the favorite of mine is called the Dark Side of the Moon. Pretty much in the last episode, Carmel go to the meteor because they have to find, I think it's like a rock or something, a rock that can heal Rain, well, not heal Rain, but bring Sam back. So they decide to go to this planet to go find this rock. They find that it's a city, and you find out it's a city called Argo City, and you find out that on this Argo City that Kryptonians are living there. And Cara's mother, Allura, played by Erica Durant, again, Lois Lane from Smallville, that she's alive. She's like, Cara? They hug each other, like, I want to hear about your life. She also tells them that your father created Argo City just to keep us safe. So he transported us here. He completely transported for us to go to Earth. So, we just ended up here. And, they couldn't track them because they were trying to protect the city. They get attacked by all the robots that the city has. But Clara tells her mother about Alex, and about how her life has been. And Clara decides that maybe she would like to stay here in Argo City and leave Earth for good. One male sees this little boy that has this terrible cancer sickness, and he gives him the stampener or whatever. puts it on Harmony, and it heals a little boy, which I thought that was a very, it was a sweet moment when Mama did that for that boy. So, so that was a good moment. Meanwhile, Alex is attacked while spending time with Ruby. Someone tries to kill her. She assumes that it's Sheriff Roland Collins who murdered Kenny Lee, but he tells her that, you know what, I feel guilty about what I did. I have nightmares about it. He knows it's wrong for what he did, but in his mind, he's just messed up, and her car gets blown up. Motorcycle. And so to keep Ruby safe, keep it out of the DEO, and Wayne is kind of a bit of a jerk. I would say a bit of an asshole to Ruby, but him and Ruby talk. They kind of become like friends. And Alex decides to capture the guy by having Johnny Wilson as Alex, but the killer decides that Alex chases the killer. She's able to take the guy down eventually in a cool way. And Alex talks to John about having kids and all that stuff. I'm like, okay. So that was alright, but I do like their hugging moment and him kissing Alex in the head. Because really, like I said, they become like family. He's like a father figure to Alex. He's like, Alex, you're a good agent, and you'll be a good mother one day. Yeah. Cora decides to go to the council, led by Selena, who was also another villain of the season, to talk to Selena about Krypton, about Earth, what's happening. And so the council decided, with enough votes, Cora gets enough votes for them to give her the rock and go back to Earth. Eventually her, sorry. Yeah, she is the Dark Priestess, Cora and Monroe is back because Rain is becoming more powerful. She's taunting Lena throughout the episode, telling how dark and evil in a way she is. But eventually, like, Lena, we got the rock, and Rain is already broken out of that shield, and it's like, it's about time to her Supergirl about to go ahead and fight, and then the episode ends there. So overall, good episode in my opinion, Dark Side of the Moon. Then another favorite of mine is called Not Kansas. Cora and Mon-El fight Rain, and Cora's able to take her down. Eventually they go up into the air, into the sky, and fight a little bit. Cora's able to eventually take her out, and they get the cure, and then, they analyze it, they put Rain in it, and Rain goes back to the Dark Valley, as you can say, being defeated. Not for good, though, but she goes back to being Sam. And, getting to see her daughter again and thanking her for it, for helping her out. Cora decides that she's going to go back to Arbor City just to live there, And so, they decide to go back there. They have a little going away party for her. She's telling her sister bye, everybody bye, and I get to see her spend time with her mother. And just that she wants to be happy. She's an old friend of hers who is also a mother herself now, and is like, kind of like a police chief or whatever, because I guess they have cops in Arbor City. Paula suspects this woman for trying to kill her. His accidents happen, and she sees her again. Eventually found out this woman is one of the Dark Witches, and one of the priestess, or whatever, and that tries to kill her. Tells her about Rain. Yeah. Mona, of course, comes with her, and she tells Mona about a dream that she had in the episode where we're still. But eventually, Selena gets the ship out already, and she tells them what she's going to do, that they're on Earth, and that they're going to rebuild Krypton. But before they can hear any more, Selena sets her a place to blow up, to self-destruct, and they have to get out of there. Kobo joins them when they arrive on Earth, and it leaves Cora and Mon-El trapped in Argo. But overall, good episode in my opinion. Just dogs outside barking at each other. Then another favorite of mine is called Make It Rain. Kobo, Selena, and the other Kryptonians, they begin a ritual at the 4th century in order to summon Rain back on Earth to bring her back from the Dark Valley, because I guess you see when they use this black rock to get, it separated them. I'm just gonna call it black kryptonite. I don't freaking care. They use this black kryptonite, and so in order for them to go get this, though, they have to go to DEO and attack, and they do have powers of Supergirl, and Samars, she still has a bit of powers, and like she's almost kind of maybe dying or something. They decide to go to DEO to ask for help. Wynn has this like belt buckle that you can use as a force shield. He tells this guy to punch him. Yeah, him and this guy, they become friends, but the War Killers attack using heat vision and attacking people. It's called the Reach that they're beginning. Kara uses her mother hologram to contact Wynn and explain, which reminds me of the hologram. If Aurora was alive the whole time, I'm sorry, this is kind of confusing me right now just to mention this out of the blue. If Aurora was alive the whole time, why not just tell Kara, oh hey, I'm alive in Argo City, once you come to the planet? I'm like, I don't know, maybe that's just a nitpick. Maybe she didn't tell her a reason, or I don't know, maybe it was another hologram, I don't know. Maybe it was that, I'm sorry, it's just kind of confusing me in the head. They pretty much are trying to get back to the DEO. They use this transporter because they're trapped in Argo. They don't have a ship to go on. So, she's able to use her mother's hologram to tell them that she is Kara, tell them that her cat was Strikey, and tell them what they need to do. And Kara is able, as a little ray, is able to get one of the witches to get mad, calling her stupid. He's like, what? And she tries to punch her, and you can't punch the hologram, duh. And so she punches the code or whatever, and it lets Mon-El and Kara and her mother in. Laura comes as well, and Laura has these powers as, abilities thanks to the sun. And, they travel back to Earth. They do fight Selena off a bit. Selena and her two other witches, they get this blood sample that has purity and pleasance. Purity. The two other War Killers that has their blood samples, so they need that to bring Rain back. They're able to get a thing to use the heat vision, but they kill the heat vision. This guy, all three of them use the heat vision on him, and they just murder this guy right up there. They just murder somebody. And it was kind of a sad moment. You felt sorry for the guy for just being murdered. Selena kills Kobo. You think he's kind of dead, but Kobo, after being betrayed, goes to their ship, and I think sends a location, but ends up being dead. Even though the guy was a cult leader, lunatic, he does, end up calling them over, come and help stop them. I think also in this episode, Myron, or I think it might be the next, telling John that he was Alzheimer's. In the third season, he forgets. I do like it though, Myron, who has Alzheimer's. He tells John that, when he was a little boy, he had Nuke, who was an imaginary friend, and then he's playing this game, this chess game. It's like a Martian chess game that he can use with his mind. And he goes, I was playing with Nuke, he's right here. And he's like, just kidding. He's like, Father, don't do that. But his father tells him, Myron tells him that they need to do the Reach, which is able to connect Martian's minds, all your memories, just to remember them or something like that, have their memories before they pass, because Myron's getting ready to die. He's just becoming his time, he's just, getting old. But overall, good episode in my opinion. Alright, then my last favorite one is And Battles Lost in One, which is the final episode of season 3. At the end of making a Rain episode, the Earth begins to worsen because they bring Rain back to life. Rain is able to fly into the Earth's core and to cause this earthquake that's shaking the Earth, and they're trying to rebuild Krypton. Myron does eventually tell the scene where I'm sorry, we're speaking about balance here. Tells Alex goodbye. Like that moment, Alex cries and gives him a hug. I just thought it was a good moment, but he tells his son, even though that they're doing this, the Reach, they decided to come and help. Carl and her mother use their heat vision use their heat vision to take down. Use their heat vision. And like, nah, way to go, Mom, and they're fighting, and I thought that was cool. They're fighting to save people, and Guardian, James takes up his match this woman who saves her son from a fire. He sees that Superman saves a country or whatever. It's like, good luck, Clark. And Myron gave it John one final memory after helping him. It's like, John, I'll always be with you. I told him, that he loves him, but he has to, just let him go. And Myron just passes away and kind of sort of evaporates. And I feel bad for John there, and he decides to be a man of peace like his father. But eventually, Supergirl and them come to have a final fight with the priestess. They take on Selena. They're able to get handcuffs on them. Supergirl and Rain fight. Rain is nearly about to ready to kill Supergirl until Sam, who eventually has powers on her, thanks to her mother, who Rain killed in the early episode by stabbing her, tells her to drink this water. This water will help you grow back. And she does get powers. She goes to save them. She stabs Rain with this knife, killing her. And Supergirl does kill Rain. But Rain comes back out of this, kind of like a Terminator 2 kind of way. But she uses heat vision. She kills John, now her mother. And Carl's like, this doesn't work. So Carl decides to use the Legion ring. Flies up to go back in time. To create like a wormhole to go back in time. You see her just kind of closing her eyes and going to the memory. And when she sees, she goes back to the moment where Rain is choking her, as you say, villains close, sometimes just talk sometimes, what evil stuff they're going to do. But before Sam can stab her with that sword again, she's like, no! And she's able to take her down, though, and but Rain eventually, she dies and evaporates after they defeat her. So, then after this, Brainiac decides to stay on prison time, and he decides that Wen, who will kind of help the future a little bit, decides that, tells Wen that you can join the Legion of Superheroes. So Wen at the end joins the Legion, and I thought it was a sad moment when everybody tells him bye. The DEO agents are shaking his hand, John goes on, so you're a good agent, Shaw. Agent went, and you're a good friend. Him and Alice leave each other home, and Carl's like, goodbye, and they give each other home, which I thought was a sad moment. And her telling him, you know what, you were the first person I read my secret to, and you were the person that built my suit. You're the reason I became Supergirl. I thought it was a sad moment there. Sorry if I'm crying, but, because I like the one character, I thought that was a sad moment for him with Carl, because ever since season 1, they've been really good friends. So. And I'm like, really? Wen leaves? Oh, in season 5, Jimmy Olsen leaves. I'm like, am I writers really? We gotta have the good characters leave. And Brainy decides to take his place at Dio, which after that he just becomes annoying. I mean, he's tolerable in the season, but after that he just, ugh. For me, things with him just get worse. And John asks Alex, would you take the DEO over for me? Asking her to take his place in the DEO, and she offers to, yes. And to take his place in the DEO. You see John at the end just wearing like an old hat and a black suit, just walking away at the end. Just try to become like his father, follow his father's footsteps is what he decides to do. You play more in that in season 4. But anyway, Cora says to stay with her mother, goes back to Argo City, Aurora does. Erica does, by the way, if they do make the Smallville anime series, I'm hoping she comes back as the voice of Lois Lane. That'd be awesome. Sam gets rid of her kryptonite and goes back to being human for good, and she just goes to live her life with Ruby. So it was good to see Sam and Ruby officially finally have peace, and not have to worry about rain anymore. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention though, they take her to the Dark Valley, and I like the moment. I thought it was badass when Sam, gives Rain a good beating herself, just punches her 3 times, saying, this is for Patricia, this is for Ruby, and this is for me. And eventually, she destroys Rain herself. You found out though when Kara and Sam touched each other, like when they went around or whatever, it created like a blood sample or whatever. I don't know how to explain it. But it ends up creating a duplicate in Russia, Siberia. At the same time, Ray is defeated with a hormonal L, which it's hard to me explain what that is. I'm like, give me a headache too much to explain it, but it's like the Soviet Supergirl. So I know the whole thing with Russia right now. I don't want to discuss politics and all that crap going on, and that's the end of season 4, and season 3, and this Soviet Supergirl will be in season 4. So they see coming to the Soviets at the end. And that was the end of Supergirl season 3. Now just 2 more episodes to talk about, y'all, and then we will be done. Yes, we're trying to hurry up and finish here. Alright. And the okay episodes, in my opinion. First is Both Sides Now. Supergirl and Dio go to Julia Freeman's home, but you find out that she's Parity. That Parity is kind of already taking her over. They talk to her in a Dio prison cell, which dampers her powers, and she gets under Alex's skin. Supergirl's trying to reach her, but can't do that. Eventually, toward the end of the episode, she does become full-on Parity, and they have to take her on. They're going to send her to prison, but she's able to get help from Rain. Rain shows up and helps her. Monel does still love Cora, still has a feeling for her, but of course he doesn't want to betray his wife. And him and John have a talk. But overall, I just thought it was an alright episode. You did for Alex when she was just sad and, when hugging her, just so everything's okay. And also I remember at the final episode where she's complaining about having kids or something. I'm like, Alex, you're complaining about you want to have kids, but yet these workers want to pretty much, end Earth, want to kill everybody on Earth, and you're worried about that now. I'm like, really? And then the Fanatical, which I thought was alright. It's one of Thomas Kobo's co-leader, Tanya, a girl who was a follower. She gets this rocket to her, becomes a work killer herself. She kidnaps this girl because this girl stole the book or whatever. Guardian reveals they somewhat James, as a brilliant superhero he is, as Guardian, him and Moon can't figure out how to keep his damn mask on. Tanya shoots his mask off. I'm like, wow, really? And it says that he's James Ryan, so they're going to reveal Jimmy Olsen's identity world, and he reveals to reveal himself. But they figure out a way to take him out. Supergirl was able to take out Tanya and able to talk her out of it. She has used her heat vision. She's like, it's okay. They had just like Tanya. I think she was on Black Lightning as well, but she was alright. Overall, I just didn't care for this episode, and I don't care about James being Guardian and all that stuff. To me, it's just not Jimmy Olsen. But anyway, y'all, that is all my favorite okay episodes. I did talk about Far From the Tree already. But y'all, to get my final thoughts on Supergirl Season 3, I'm going to go ahead and just get this done. Damn, nearly 5:55. But to get my final thoughts on Season 3 of Supergirl, I did like this season. I did enjoy it. What I loved about, Kara, I love, Melissa Benoist is always great as Supergirl. She is the main reason I like watching this show. And I think she does a great job. It's cool seeing her use her powers and stuff and being Supergirl. and see how much of a good heart she is. And here she has to learn to be Cora Danvers, and has to move on from Mon-El and what she's going through, being heartbroken and stuff. And I like the idea of world kills. I thought was interesting. I thought Rain was a good villain in this, because Rain is a good villain because, first of all, she nearly killed Supergirl, gives her a good beating, and she's very intimidating. She's very threatening. Her voice is very threatening, and she has a presence to her that she will wipe you out or kill you viciously without regretting it. And a lot of enjoyable episodes, a lot of interesting stuff. I like seeing Arbor City, seeing Erica Durance in here was awesome from Smallville, and seeing Sarah Dulles in here was cool. Seeing Livewire was awesome as well. And I like the whole thing with the Legion of Superheroes, with Mon-El being for the future. Mon-El grew on me, and again, his red suit and blue cape was cool. Him teaching Supergirl the cape trick was cool. But overall, Mon-El, I do like Mon-El. I still don't like him in season 2. I don't love the character, but he grew on me. But we don't see him until the end of the season. From what I heard, season 6 and McCall don't end up together, so whatever with that, I guess. But it was cool seeing him back in here, and cool seeing us using her cool suit and her gun. But overall, good season, very enjoyable. Problems, I didn't care about Alex and Maggie's relationship. Again, the woke stuff, I don't care about that. I was glad when Maggie left, thank God. But I didn't care about Jimmy Olsen and Lena being in a relationship. Again, I don't care about Lena. Again, she's just Lex Luthor except for Smallville to me. Again, because Supergirl can't trust her, so she can't trust her. Kind of like when Clark had trust issues with Lex. I'm like, I've seen it done before. Didn't need to see it again. And her having a relationship with Jimmy, like Lex had a relationship along the way. And this kind of reminded me of him, like, didn't care about that, and I don't care about him being Guardian. Just doesn't work for me. The Cole thing was just weird and bizarre. I mean, the actor did a good job, because I think he was in Pretty Little Lies, I believe. I think he was already his father. I forget the actress's name. But, I know he was the dad in Pretty Little Lies, but, the whole Cole thing was just bizarre, in my opinion. Just a little too weird for me. But overall, despite some of those issues, though, and again, I thought it was, I hate that Wynn left, because it was funny seeing him being in a relationship. I was like, whoa, how did I control this? But I'm like, it was sad to see Wynn go, because I like the actor. And the character was funny and a likable character, and I'm like, great, now we gotta replace him with the annoying ass Brainy. I'm like, oh my god, I definitely miss Wynn after this season. I'm like, really? I guess the actor chose to left, though. I'm like, you want to have a good show, have good writing, and have a good cast. But again, good season, my second favorite season. I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 stars, and a thumbs up for season 3 for Supergirl. So guys, let me know in the comments down below, what are your favorite episodes of Supergirl season 3? Let me know in the comments down below. What did you think of this season? And what are your favorite episodes of Supergirl season 3? And stay tuned. Next, I will be finishing my Supergirl. I will be finishing up Supergirl by giving my thoughts. Next will be my thoughts / favorite episodes of Supergirl season 4. So this will be next. For me, I don't know. Well, I'm not going to say nothing about the season yet, so I'll get to that video. But Supergirl season 4 will be next. So for me, this will be the end of talking about the show. I will not be talking about season 5 or 6. Now, I will describe the plot synopsis in the next video for season 5 or 6, but that's it. I refuse to watch them. I've seen some of I watched all season 5. I hated it in season 6. I just stopped watching. I just couldn't bear it anymore, and I'm not sitting through it again. So I'm going to end Supergirl next with season 4, and then after this, we'll be getting a TV show collection for Superman and Lois, and finally, ending my Superman marathon, and hopefully sometime this year, hopefully maybe 2 weeks or so, start with my Batman marathon. So, okay, I'll go ahead and show you. So, right after Supergirl season 4, I will be doing a TV show. Let me come over here a second. I will be doing a TV show collection video for Superman and Lois. So, TV show collection for Superman and Lois, and my favorite episodes of this first season. We'll not be talking about season 2 until I can get them on DVD one day. It might be down the road, but this will be the end of my Superman marathon. But guys, let me know in the comments down below, what are your favorite episodes of Supergirl season 3, and what do you think of this season? I did enjoy it. And let me know, and I hope you look forward to Supergirl season 4, which is next. So thoughts on the next episode of Supergirl season 4. This will be the last one for me that I'm going to talk about. So thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I gotta go to bed soon. I gotta get ready for work. Because I gotta work early in the morning. But have a good week, y'all. Maybe see you at the next weekend. So thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and up and away. No, I'm kidding. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.